eagle has landed.
Vikings episode 6.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Devorah Roberts, video producer of the Towerlight.
And I'm Murphy, photo editor at the Towerlight.
And the episode title is more related to the end, so we'll get to that in a bit. But the thing is, I don't really have much to say about this episode.
There was nothing particularly bad. There was nothing particularly good.
There wasn't anything really memorable.
Well, yes, I agree. There wasn't really anything memorable about this episode. When we start out, we start with Siggy, which is interesting because she's not a character. We've seen little things from her this season, but not a lot from her. So I was like, oh yes, Siggy-centric episode. Let's see what she's up to. And she kind of gets lost in the middle. Like, I think she sets a lot of things in motion, and we're starting to see her conspiring with Floki about stuff, but there was no resolution. As you were saying, A plot, B plot. Vikings, get it together.
They really haven't, the last couple episodes, like, known how to set up a big plot at the episode and then have, like, little interspersing threads that we see build to something greater. In other episodes, and have that as A plot. They've just been kind of like, we'll throw this in, we'll throw that in, we'll also do that, I guess. It's, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same gripe I had with, I guess it was episode 4, 2 episodes ago, where there was too many different things going on at once, but there wasn't as much action this episode, so it wasn't as uncomfortable or wasn't as jarring to watch, but it was just, I couldn't get attached to this episode like I usually am able to get kind of immersed in it. But this one, there were just little things brought up. If you're thinking a thread for this episode, I guess it's how relationships are changing. Bjorn has this Thora, this love interest. I guess.
It's more of like, I kind of want to sleep with you, in my opinion.
I mean, I think he's still kind of naive, and he doesn't understand the amount of prestige he has back in Kattegat, because he's used to growing up on a farm, and then he gets back, and the chick's like, well, you're my master, I'm your servant, did you want to sleep with me? Because I'm assuming that's all you want me for.
That's true.
But
I think the biggest plot point this episode for me, like, barring everything that happens at the end of the episode, is Lagartha. They never really resolved it much. The whole, like, her finally stabbing her douchebag of a husband in the eye.
You go. And hashtag Team Lagartha.
I really don't like how they're handling it, because I feel like they're setting up really bad parallels between him and Ragnar, and I feel like Lagartha's becoming more about who she's with at the moment, and not who she is and what she's doing. So I'm really hoping next episode we might see her, like, maybe taking over her husband's, like, little estate.
Like it's Saxo Grammaticus.
Yeah, and not being tied down to who do you think Lagartha is still in love with Ragnar? Because I know that was a Vikings history tweet, and that really bothered me.
Yeah, they said in the episode, too, her husband was like, oh, you still have feelings for Ragnar Lothbrok. I'm like, Lagartha is her own person.
She might still have those feelings, but they don't define her.
I think, honestly, she cares more for Bjorn at this point. Ragnar treated like crap, and it doesn't mean that she doesn't love him, but that's not all about who she is. I feel like we're getting so obsessed with these love plots and these love triangles and the love quadriangles, and it's just...
And I feel like it was also completely contradictory to last episode, where Lagartha was like, I don't love you anymore, you're a completely different person, basically.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know what you're trying to do, Vikings.
I don't know what they're doing with her character, and it's just a shame. Because, I mean, the female characters in this season they have such potential.
But they're never really going.
But they're not realizing it. And I don't know where they're going.
It for all the characters, except maybe Athelstan.
Yeah, Athelstan had some cool stuff this episode. It was nice to see him back in the monastery. I mean,
a little sad.
It was grueling work, I will tell you. We talked about this in my old English class. It was a rough time. But I think for him, he's definitely back in his element. And he missed that kind of atmosphere of literacy and learning that came with Christianity that the Vikings just don't have. They don't have that literate culture. And that doesn't mean their culture isn't great, but it's just not that same kind of possessions and the books and the devotion that goes into it. And I love books, and I love Athelstan, so I like seeing them happy together. But King Egbert still has his motives, and poor Athelstan cannot get away from these really powerful men who are using him.
I don't really know what King Egbert's motives are, other than to, like, eradicate the Vikings at this point.
He's a lot like Ragnar. I think he's ambitious. He wants, Wessex, he probably wants control of that kind of area of England. Is one of the more kind of prominent ones at that point. And he's just trying to show, I have dominion over this. I can keep up with these Vikings. And Athelstan's an important plot point for that, because he's like, I think I can trust you. And it's just like, we've heard this song and dance before with Ragnar, and poor Athelstan, he gets books this time, which is a plus.
But he's still hallucinating.
Still hallucinating. Lots of Jesus imagery.
Can we stop with the Jesus imagery? I'm so bored
There's
with Jesus
so much
imagery.
symbolism.
Do you know how much our culture is like flooded with Jesus imagery? I get it. Jesus was a guy. Oops, I probably shouldn't say that. Sorry, guys. Moving on.
No, I see your point. I mean, if you're just looking at it from a strictly just kind of secular, just kind of viewpoint as watching the episode, the symbolism is just really, really, there's no subtlety to it. And it's like, that's okay, like, I'm not expecting that from the show, but there's the Jesus imagery, the eagle imagery with King...
Yarbor.
I'm getting... I get him, y'all.
Okay, let's talk about the eagle. I still don't understand it. Am I stupid? I don't know.
I have to look up the eagle in terms of Viking myth and mythology, I feel like. Because, I mean, the raven's associated with Odin, so maybe the eagles.
Maybe, like, I don't know. I just...
Ragnar was doing some funny karate looking things at the end. Like an eagle. Like, I don't know, man. I just kind of like unfulfilled. It was just, the episode was kind of like revenge. I guess that was a good center point for this episode for Lagertha and Ragnar kind of mirrored their kind of revenge against their rivals / abusive husbands.
I don't know. And then like the seer with the eat, he was being super ominous, and then I guess Jarlborn died, and that was the big thing. But the thing is, I don't think anyone actually cared about Jarlborn. I never cared about his plot. I mean, about his character.
He was first introduced, and I was like, okay, he wants more land. I mean, who doesn't? He's just another Jarl. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
I never really got attached to him. He's actually, Hagar's great.
So, like, this whole episode leading up to him dying, I was kind of like, I guess he's dead now. And you have to remember, for a character to die and mean something, you have to make sure that his character matters enough so that we care. Game of Thrones, Ned Stark dying, and no one who read the books, they cared. They freaked out.
True.
Jarlborn dying, no one gives a crap.
Yeah, I just didn't feel, I was just kind of like, okay, I guess you're gone now. I mean, it was just kind of like, Ragnar's not putting up with your crap anymore, I guess.
I think he died. He died, right?
There
was the whole, like...
There was blood and some really weird homoerotic death moments between him and Ragnar. Rollo, I guess, getting on Ragnar's good side by leading this crusade.
I don't know, man.
It was a weird, another one of the limbo episodes. Unfortunately, I was hoping it would keep... Usually it picks up.
They're just having trouble this season. I mean, they did get renewed for season 3, so... I really hope in season 3 they figure out how to get their A plot, B plot thing going.
Pacing, man.
Their pacing's just crap.
This is just, I love all these characters, but you don't need to put all of them in every single episode. You see it in stories too, like when you have a bunch of characters who are all great, you want to put them in every scene, but you just can't. You have to focus on 2 or 3.
Yeah. Again, I'm going back to Game of Thrones because they balance their characters relatively well.
They do, because you don't see every character every episode.
No. You have at least, I think, 2 or 3 characters with them, like, one character has the biggest plot, second character, third character, and then, of course, there's all the supporting characters that interact with them, that you still see them, but they're not necessarily as important as they will be in their own episode.
Yeah.
And Vikings has a smaller cast, so I don't understand why they're having trouble with this.
Yeah, and we're also losing Ragnar a lot in this.
Yeah, where was he this episode?
He wasn't really in last episode. In this episode, like, I was like, does he know that they're killing Jarlborn? Oh wait, he's here now.
I guess he's doing the whole...
I mean, Aslak was just kind of like, yo,
she had like husband, 1 sentence.
Get on that. You should like take revenge. I did not like
I was insulted.
I was offended. It's
you have to
be on you.
And it's like, I like you, Aslak, but you didn't really get any good dialogue this episode.
It was just like...
It wasn't bad. I guess
it was just kind of boring.
Grade-wise, I think I'd give it like
C.
B. Yeah, C plus, B minus.
B minus?
B minus.
Yeah, C plus.
Not me minus.
Me minus.
Thanks.
Yes, C plus, B minus. I mean, like, it was...
I mean, the episode was pretty. The cinematography, I think, was a lot more distinguished.
There was a lot of cool frames.
Yeah.
But it was very dark towards the end, which is one of my gripes. If you have a small TV like we do, it's really hard to see.
Yeah, so...
Not bad, but not great.
Comment below, tell us what you think. Tweet us at TowerlightVideo, and subscribe.
Yeah.
That's it for us. See you next week.